Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Prachi Indira. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Prachi.
Thank you so much, Subodh sir. Firstly, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful series. So, hello everyone. I am Prachi Indira, and I am currently pursuing my master's in economics from NUS. And prior to this, I have done my bachelor's in mathematics from Jesus and Mary College, University of Delhi. And today I'll be talking about my academic journey, my internship experiences so far, and what all I have learned. So let's get started. So talking about my academic journey, so now as you all know that I am a maths major. Well, I was a maths major and now I am an aspiring economist. So everyone asks me this question that what made me transition from maths to economics? So, to be honest, the decision to transition from mathematics to economics wasn't an easy one, and it wasn't overnight. So, when I first began my bachelor's in maths, I was fully committed to the field, I would say, because I remember being completely immersed in subjects like real analysis, calculus, linear algebra, and I was very much fascinated because with the logic and sheer precision the subject demands. But as my undergraduate degree progressed, and when I was in my second year, I started feeling that even though mathematics is like a language that I can use to understand things, but I still wanted deep insight into how things work in real life. So I had taken economics as a minor during my bachelor's, and that is how the shift towards economics happened. And what I really loved about economics is that it not only teaches you about human behavior, resource allocation, and societal things, but it also felt like a perfect blend of abstract things and the practical. And I began to realize that mathematics, of course, has given me the right set of tools to understand things, but economics is giving me the stage to apply all the tools that I have learned so far into real world examples. So, one good thing about my mathematics degree was that, let's say in an economics class, my professor is teaching me something and I'm not understanding the qualitative aspect of it. So, what my professor used to do was he used to make out a graph, or in simple sense, he used to make me understand all the qualitative things into, say, quantitative things. So, if I'm not able to understand a particular definition in words, he used to draw a graph and he used to understand that, hey, this is when this variable changes, the graph goes like this, the graph changes like this. And then I realized that, okay, my mathematics degree is giving me an edge to understand this subject. However, qualitative thing, of course, you need to understand, but even if you are not able to understand, mathematics was there to help me out. And after my bachelor's degree, I decided that, okay, this is the subject that I want to pursue my master's in. And I actually applied to Singapore, to NUS, and I luckily got in. And the journey so far has been very, very rewarding. And this program has not offered me, like, not only offered me academic growth, but has also given me a chance to develop a more nuanced understanding of global economic trends. So now that I read Economic Times, I'm at least able to understand that what those highly complex things mean, which was not the case before. And let's come to my professional experiences. So, by professional experiences here, I would like to clarify that I don't have any full-time experience as of now, because I right away, after my bachelor's, I applied for my master's degree. But I have been fortunate enough to have had a few internship experiences in diverse fields. So, my first of the many internships I have so far was my internship at the Ministry of Finance, India, and this internship was mainly focusing on the econometric aspect, like time series forecasting, etc. So the main aim here for me was to assist the team in doing all the quantitative stuffs like P tests, T-test, co-integration, etc. And this was my first ever exposure to the quantitative side of economics. So the minor which I was doing during my undergrad, it was all qualitative: law of supply, law of demand, public finance, etc. But this was the first time I was actually able to see all the numbers, all the equations in economics put into practice. So this internship was pretty insightful, and I also got an opportunity to draft a report on the G20 summit. And it was like really amazing because for a person who had a science background, who was a math major before, these things were something which I was not very well aware of. And this was my first introduction to the wonderful world of economics. My second internship, which was also equally rewarding, was at the office of the Member of Indian Parliament, Shri Sujeet Kumar. Although this was a remote internship because I was in Singapore, it really gave me deep insights into how Indian legislation actually works. So I was assisting the team in researching about what are the current topics that can be used to raise questions uh, in the parliament for the ruling party, etc. And although this internship was pretty qualitative in nature, like again, I was used to numbers, but this was all about reading articles, finding loopholes that okay, this is the scheme the government is offering, but is it actually catering to, let's say, the target population? Are there any loopholes that can be asked to the government, etc.? So this was also pretty much new to me, but again, I really learned a lot in this internship, and I'm really fortunate that I got this opportunity, even though it was remote. Although I missed out on the chance to visit the Indian Parliament while my other fellow interns who were there interning in person got to visit the Parliament, but okay, it's fine. And currently, I am interning at EDP Renewables Asia Pacific, and this internship is actually giving me a global perspective in the energy sector. So I am working on the intersection of sustainability and economics. And I am working more on the regulation side of the energy sector, like involved in projects related to market outlooks, like how the energy market is doing currently, and are there any regulatory developments across the Asia Pacific countries, especially in the renewables energy sector. What I really find fascinating is that how countries are actually changing or are making regulatory developments so that they can achieve their goal of being net zero, etc. And sustainability, of course, is the need of the hour. With industrialization, etc., the emissions are increasing, and I think I don't need to like emphasize a lot more on this because it's common knowledge in economic terms. So yeah, and this internship is actually owning my research skills and has allowed me to actually explore the renewable sector in detail. And again, it has given me an opportunity to interact with people from diverse backgrounds, diverse nationalities, etc. And lastly, I would like to touch on a piece of advice that has actually served me well throughout my academic and professional endeavors. And one of the most important lessons I have learned is that your attitude is everything. So when I started my internships, I often felt out of depth. So when I got my internship at the Indian Ministry of Finance, even though I was a math major, but I didn't know what was T-test, what was T-test. These are some of the basic things that people who study econometrics learn in the third or fourth lecture. But I was very much new. But what got me through those moments was actually my willingness to learn and my positive attitudes. What I used to do was instead of shying away from difficult situations and like thinking that, okay, I when I ask this question to my manager, what will he think of me? She doesn't know this, etc. So I asked questions that I thought might seem obvious to others, but that curiosity and eagerness actually paid off every single time. And I firmly believe that proficiency, though, can be developed over time, but what truly matters is that your attitude. And in every role I have undertaken, be it in the Indian Ministry of Finance, be it in the Office of the Member of Parliament Shri Sujeet Kumar, or my current internship at EDP Renewables APAC, I have always tried to give my best regardless of how much prior experience I had. And for that matter, I was a math major and I took a leap of faith and I transitioned to economics, right? So employers and mentors, and of course, professors notice when someone is genuinely committed and when they show up every day with a mindset towards growth and learning. And in many of the mentors I have had, they have like literally told me that they don't look for candidates who have like prior knowledge or who know everything. Rather, they look for people who have that spirit, who are actually willing to put in the effort to learn, adapt, and improve. And I'll again, your attitude will take you far. There will be many moments of self-doubt, of feeling that you're not prepared or you're not qualified enough. And like one thing that I would like to share is that my current internship at EDP Renewables, one of the prerequisites there was that you should be from the engineering sector, or at least you should be having some basic knowledge of how things in the energy sector works, like how solar panels work, etc. Me, I'm not an engineer. I don't have any knowledge about how solar panels work. But again, I am interning. I am at that position right now. And I asked my mentor, like after a couple of weeks, that, hey, this was the prerequisite. So why did you hire me? And he said me the very same thing, that he just wanted someone who is eager to learn. Because, of course, proficiency can be developed, but your attitude is what matters. And again, embrace failure as a learning experience. And throughout my journey, there have been moments where things didn't go as planned. Like when I was in my like school days, when I was in 12th, my parents wanted me to prepare for engineering exams. Although again, I didn't like prepare for it that well because I was not interested in it in the first place. But again, results matter, and I wasn't able to clear it with like very good marks. But again, I've come to realize that my failures have actually taught me more than my successes have ever did. Like they have helped me to build resilience, and and they have like given me the courage to take on even more bigger challenges. And one final note, never underestimate the power of networking and building relationships. So throughout my internships, throughout my academic journey, I have actually had the privilege of like meeting and learning incredible people, from professors and mentors to colleagues and fellow students. Each interaction has actually contributed to my personal and professional growth in ways I couldn't even imagine like a year before. So be open to connecting with others and always be genuine in your approach. And you never know how a conversation today might lead to an opportunity tomorrow. So that's all from my end.
Okay,
And
good.
thank you so much once again.
Okay, so one of the let's chat about one of the themes that you have talked
Mhm.
about, and that's also one of my themes. That there are many things that you get from your college education, but the most important in academic terms is the ability that you learn on your own. Learn on your own, because today the world is changing so fast and there are so many opportunities in the world that whatever they teach you in your college days is not the only thing that can get you somewhere.
Very true.
Yeah. So what you are saying is, okay, I did not know engineering, but I learned it on my own. I did not know economics. What was they talking about? T-test and this and that, because that's taught in statistics, not in mathematics. But I learned it. So the thing is, you had already learned how to learn on your own. And today, the information is on YouTube or other video or media. So you are free, you are independent of your college. All that the college can teach you is learn to learn on your own. Learn to learn.
Very, very true,
So
sir.
this is my slogan. Learn to learn on your own. Today we have AI, which we didn't have 3 years ago. How to make good
That's
use of it.
very true.
How to make good use of it. How to not be afraid of it. How to become its master. That means you have to learn on your own. You don't have time to go and take more courses on everything. You have to learn on your own. So that's my general advice. I think you have fulfilled it already.
Yes, I mean, this is something that I even didn't know before, and and I have learned it over time because I realized that, like, in my childhood, what I used to do was that I had a book, picture book or whatever, uh, like books children refer at that age. Used to go to my mom, my dad, and say, "Mom, teach me this, Dad, teach me this, etc." And this happened for like, say, when I was in class seventh or eighth. But then, of course, parents and in fact, in general, grown-ups have their own responsibilities, right? They don't have the free time every single time you ask them, right? So that's when I developed an attitude that okay, if someone has the time, they'll help me. But if someone doesn't have the time, that doesn't mean I'll waste the time that I have at my disposal. I will do whatever I can to understand. So when I say that I learned things on my own at my like during my latest internship, it it wasn't the case that I was like 100% correct in understanding every single thing. I also had doubts, but of course, as you said, sir, we have AI, we have Chat GPT. So when you study, it's very likely that you will come across many doubts. You can ask ChatGPT, and for that matter, if you feel that ChatGPT is not being reliable, because of course it's in its learning phase, right? You can of course ask someone who is more knowledgeable than you. So in my team, there are only two people. It's just me and my manager, like in the whole APAC region. So of course, since we are just two people, my manager, of course, he knows everything, so he's very busy. So now that he's very busy, I cannot bug him every time in answering like, hey, could you please let me know what this means? So I can approach other people because that is a very basic question that every person would be owing in renewable sector, right? So I'm like, okay, if I'm able to find someone who knows the answer, it's fine. If not, let's see, like we can find another person. So I think it all comes down to how willing you are to learn new things. And again, one can give as many excuses as they want, but it all lies down to how willing you are, how much eager you are to learn new things. And especially in today's era, of course, nothing is impossible. You have got so many tools at your disposal. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. What about some things that you do for fun?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, interesting person. I have tons of hobbies, so I like to sing. Of course, don't ask me whether I'm a good singer or not. This is something I do for fun. I like to dance, and then I love cooking. And one thing that I like the most is that I love photography. I love traveling. And in my free time, I also love to volunteer. I especially like teaching. So during my time here in Singapore, uh, there have been two initiatives by NUS in which NUS students can volunteer and they can go and teach people, children from underprivileged backgrounds. So I have been part of those two groups, and again, it has been really amazing. So these are some of the things. Of course, it's not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the things that I do for fun.
And how's life in Singapore?
Okay, so life in Singapore is pretty good, I would say. And whenever someone asks me this question, the very first thing that I say is that Singapore is safe. Because I have been like brought up in Delhi, and everyone knows that how the environment is in Delhi, especially for women. In Delhi, I was not supposed to go out of my house after, let's say, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. unless I have some male person like accompanying me. But here in Singapore, I don't have any fear. Let's say if I want to get out, let's say 10 p.m., 11 p.m., I won't even have a single doubt that something wrong might happen. So many times, so people ask me that, Prachi, after your masters, what are your plans? Do you want to come back to India? And while I really think about it, I'm like, okay, India has my family, my loved ones, my friends, my relatives. But what about the sense of safety? Even though my loved ones are living there, I, I, I mean, we are still not in that state that, okay, they are also safe. I'm also not safe if I go there. But here in Singapore, of course, there is no one. Life is a bit monotonous in the sense that like, everyone has their own stuff to do. I mean, in India, if you see someone and you know them, you will be like, hey, how are you? What's up? But in Singapore, it's not the culture. You will see everyone is glued to their smartphones. So in that sense, it's a bit monotonous. But the main thing which Singapore offers me is a good lifestyle, a safe lifestyle. So again,
All right,
life
wonderful.
in
All right.
Singapore,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
a bit monotonous but pretty safe.
Okay. All right. And the food and all?
Food and also, so okay, I'm a bit risk averse in that like area. Of course, you have like pretty good food here, Asian food, etc. But if you are a vegetarian, then you will be a bit disappointed because, of course, there might be some options like Subway, etc. But I don't think there are much good options in vegetarian, like that Asian cuisine has to offer. But of course, there are places like for me, I am very fond of Indian food. So there are places like Little India where you can go and have Indian food at nominal rates, of course. So yeah,
Okay. Wonderful. Anything else you want to add here?
nothing from my side, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Prachi. It was a pleasure to listen to you and to tell about your journey and how it happened and why you you rightly pointed out the environment in Delhi. Physical and safety is an issue, and if we don't recognize it, then we are just living with blinkers on. Okay, we have to recognize it, and when a young woman like you says it, it resonates that look, she's not just saying it to denigrate the country, it's a reality. And we need the older generation to understand this reality. Okay, all right. So let's say goodbye now. Let's end it here. I'll be back with another young person and expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, everybody.